good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever it is, wherever you are. My name's Katie O, and this is Moon Mama Musings. Welcome back to my living room for another Energy People for today, the 11th of November, 2021. It is our first quarter moon in the sign of Aquarius, and it's the 11:11 portal. Very interesting. At the same time, big vibes. As you guys know, quarter moons are, especially the first quarter moon, is where you're halfway between the peak and the trough of the energy. And you're like, in this case, we are moving upwards towards the peak of the energy of the full moon next week. So it's this halfway point where the manifestation and the manifestation energy and the intentions that we set from our previous new moon in the sign of Scorpio from last week actually start to begin to take form. So they're not fully formed yet, but they are very, very, very much showing signs of life. Now, 11:11 portal. This is interesting. I mentioned it yesterday a little bit, just kind of the idea of the fact that the numerology of this is just synchronous energy, and I think that it's very individual for everybody. But I did a little research about the 11:11 portal, and I did very light research. I did what I was called to do. I looked where I need to, and when I got the information that I needed, I knew exactly what it was. And just to elaborate a little bit on what I was saying yesterday about the fact that it doesn't really matter where you are in the world. It doesn't matter if you do it in the morning or in the evening. This is very much a personal thing because the 11:11 portal for me is a lot about, I mean, maybe it's just this particular one in our collective, but I feel the energy of this 11:11 portal for us is about, it's a reminiscence to our own awakening. So 11:11 is the wake-up code, they call it, yeah. It's all about accelerated opportunity, and when you think about it as a wake-up code, it's very much often to do with, well, the way I'm interpreting it intuitively, is that it has very much to do with the fact that when we opened our third eye, when we started to become a little bit more comfortable with understanding or seeking out sort of the unknown of things, it creates this opportunity for us to really grow in a very different way than we ever have, which I think is really, really, again, conducive that it is a first quarter moon in the sign of Aquarius, and Aquarius is all about innovation. So I don't know if you remember your awakening, but 11:11 is often a repeating number that people will see first. It's the first one that clues them into the fact that they're being thrown synchronicities. When they start seeing 11:11 all over the place, it kind of like poses the question to you of like, why is it that I note, why all of a sudden am I noticing this all the time? Like, cannot be just coincidence. So it's like this number. It's a lot of people get it as the first cue that there's more going on than just what we can explain. So I'm hearing that we have to, they're calling us in this 11:11 portal to harness that like naive raw power from when we had first opened our third eye. Like when you realize what's going, I mean, for me anyway, when I really kind of realized what was going on, and I still had no freaking idea, trust me, but the first wave of realization that there was something that I could tap into that was greater than myself. It made me feel like I'd found a piece of the puzzle that I'd been searching for years. It made me feel so accomplished. It made me feel like, oh my God, I'm so much better than I was yesterday because I have this knowing now that's going to change my life. And it was like, oh my God, it's very Fool energy, right? Like, oh my God, everything is new and I can do this completely differently. And oh my fucking, yeah. So harnessing that power is going to be really helpful for us. Harnessing the wonder that you had when you first experienced synchronicities, harnessing the excitement that you had with regards to all of this stuff, and the like, that sense of finding your tribe. You know, it's like you feel at home for the first time. You feel like, oh my God, I'm not crazy. You know, that kind of energy. Like, oh, there's more people like me. Oh, I'm not alone. Oh my God, that energy can really, really help us with this. And I believe that it's a really great time to encourage others to undergo their awakening process. Yeah. I believe that this period, for some of you, you're going to observe some people around you that you didn't really ever expect to be so open to that kind of stuff. Maybe get a little bit more aware about it. Yeah, maybe they don't use the word coincidence so much anymore. Maybe they're coming to terms with things like divine timing. So I believe that there's a wave of awakening, which brings a lot of accelerated opportunity for us. And the Scorpio new moon was extremely powerful. I know a lot of you guys reeled from it. I know that it was not an easy one, but I mean, we're still coping with these resistances, and we're still coping with letting go of them with the Scorpio season, with so many planets in Scorpio. And I mean, big energies right now. We have Mars and Mercury are together. Like they're hanging out together, and those are two really, really, really heavy hitters to be sharing the same stage. Let's just say. All right, we got quite a few aspects today that I want to talk about. This is probably going to be a long video. Sorry, friends, but hey, I gotta tell you, I'm being called. I'm guided. I just follow the guidance. Don't shoot the messenger. First and foremost, the moon is squaring Uranus. So this is a time where we can, as empathetic beings, feel the discomfort of all of those that are being driven to awaken, or even the resonant remembrance of how much discomfort you experienced in your beginnings of your awakening process. It can really bring back some really confusing energies, right? You can remember what it was like to have the blindfold over your eyes still, and have this inkling that something was going on, but you couldn't really put your finger on it, and you didn't know if you could trust it, and how unsettling that was all. So I mean, other people undergoing these awakenings, you tap into energy, right? And by tapping into energy, if there's a collective vibe of awakening going on, you're probably tapping into a whole lot of people's discomfort with regards to facing the reality that there must be more this provincial life. Back to Belle in the field. Yeah. It can be particularly confusing if you're not grounded also. So I'm being called to tell you guys to just really, really get grounded. A square and Uranus together can be really, really upheaving. So, and yes, Uranus is still retrograde in the side of Taurus, so it's not unexpected stuff, right? We are very much expecting the things that crumble down around us to, we've known they were going to crumble for some time. Yeah, so maybe some of you guys around you, you knew that people were really holding themselves back with certain resistances, or they weren't willing to look at spirituality, or they weren't willing to accept that maybe their luck was more than just luck. And maybe some of you guys are going to actually be witnessing them open their third eye and go, oh my God, you're right. Or oh my God, there's more. Yep. Moon is squaring the sun. This is our first quarter. So I'm hearing that the ego can really be triggered by these subconscious cues that we're getting. So yeah, like I said, you might be tapping into somebody's energy that is undergoing their process of awakening, or even a dark night of the soul, and it can be very confusing for you. But it can also be productive if we can harness that potential energy, right? Because how much power you had when you were awakening. So if you can almost set intention to maybe I don't want to put you guys in any energetic compromising situations, but if you feel confident with your ability to set intention, which I believe most of you do if you're watching me, you can set a strong intention to protect yourself first, and to allow only energy that can benefit you, but also to maybe two birds with one stone, right? It's energy that these new healers or light workers don't necessarily know how to tap into, and it can be confusing for them to have. So maybe you can set the intention, if you have someone close to you that's opening their third eye, I'd like to, with my protective bubble, alleviate some of the pressure from this person that I care about by taking some of their potential energy and using it so I can feed it back into filling my cup so I can help them fill theirs. Some of these little loopy sort of intentions and affirmations and sharing the wealth kind of dealio, but doing it in a really you have to do it in a community vibed, open-hearted, collaborative way, and not don't use your powers for bad kind of thing. You don't want to be manipulating people's energy, but if you know that it's for the power of manifestation, for something for the greater good, yeah, absolutely. I personally like to try and transmute, and I don't do this for everybody, but people that are extremely close to me, if someone says to me, oh, send me some good vibes, great. I'm going to try and transmute some of your excess energy that is confusing you into words, putting it back into the circuit to help everybody else sort out their sort of convoluted energies, and to help them feed more love into their stance, to maybe help them use some of that confusing pent-up energy for good. Yeah. You don't have to do any of that, by the way, but if you do feel called to be in service of other beings and to use your gifts for the betterment and the healing of others as well as of yourself, could be an interesting thing for you to look into. Okay. Mercury is squaring Saturn. So this is signed, sealed, delivered. I heard the contract that we spoke about from yesterday. This karmic contract has now been signed. We have reviewed it, and it's you put your name on the dotted line, and you're like, yep, this is it. You've made up your mind. You are taking the hints that Saturn has been giving you now, and you are actually committing to this new energy exchanges. And like I said, or like I've said in the past, Mercury isn't always just about communication, but Mercury can be a physical representation of the exchange of energy with people. So it can be technology, it can be travel, it can be health, it can be actual communication, it can be throat chakra stuff, basically. But we are committing to this new energy exchange, and whatever that means for you. Okay, some of you it's a new job, some of you it's a trip that you're going to take, some of you it's a new relationship. Doesn't matter, but you're committing to this energy exchange. You signed on the dotted line, and you're committing to it. And with Mars actually also squaring Saturn, we're ready to take the necessary steps, no matter what it takes. We are honoring the contract down to every single final period. This is real willingness to honor the contract, to act right, to come correct, to be the best self that you can be, to act in integrity, to move forward in a very, very, very new, yes, but a way that you've considered the structure for how you're going to do it to get better towards the things that you desire. All right, now the last two aspects here scream shadow work to me. All right, but in a very, very, very healing and cooperative sense, because we do have a trine and I mean, today is basically shitloads of squares. So everything that we've talked about up until now is challenging. Yeah, it's obstacles. Everything we're talking about from now on is regarding the general energy of all those things, which on the whole is healing. So it is shadow work. All of this stuff has to do with dealing with some of our challenges and obstacles and resistances. Shadow work. We got to go through the darkness, all of that stuff. But it's all for a very healing goal. So firstly, the moon is trining Black Moon Lilith. So we are not ashamed in the least anymore about the decisions that we've made. We're not ashamed of it. We know that we've made the right decisions. But some of us might have to remind ourselves constantly that we have no reason to be ashamed of seeking out our goals and of feeling a certain way or having aspirations. Okay? I've been talking about an energy of sometimes when you have success, it attracts people that tend to feel threatened because you having success, for some weird reason, they make it about themselves and go, oh, if that person's having success, then I must be doing something wrong, or I'm not good enough, or whatever. You know, but you know that it's not your circus, not your monkeys. Someone's going to make your success about themselves, and that's just selfish to begin with. But you can't change it. So I do feel like we're not ashamed. We're getting rid of some shame. We know that we've been acting correct for a long time, and we have no qualms telling people, no, I'm standing my ground on this one. The moon is also set in a sextile with Chiron, so the healing of our burdens, using innovative Aquarius energy that the moon is in right now, right, and this sort of like interesting sort of portal with the fourth quarter moon and the way that things are coming to fruition and doing it in innovative ways, blah 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 blah. Aquarius vibes. In our moon, we're using it to work towards the healing of these burdensome wounds of the past. All right, so I talked a little bit recently about how there's been this like thing on the top of our list that we've maybe been avoiding dealing with, but it's a big thing, and maybe some of us have been doing it for so long that we don't even realize that we're perpetuating these cycles. We don't even realize that we do it. This is being healed. It is. I truly believe that it's being healed, and yeah, we're doing a great job. So yeah, the whole beginning of that, of everything that we talked about, can yes be pretty unsettling and pretty challenging, but the astrology kind of sums it up with a message of hope, saying that the shame doesn't serve you, and these limiting beliefs never did serve you, and you're healing from it, whether you like it or not, in some way, shape, or form. The sooner you get rid of the shame, the better, I'm hearing. But you do know that. Okay, we got a little triplet here. I've got the Tarot del Toro. We have the King of Wands, the Two of Swords, and the Nine of Wands. Okay. So, this tells me, with the Two of Swords in the center here, I'm feeling like they're at the heart of the matter here. We still don't really know how, we still feel that external circumstances are keeping us from being able to see things clearly. Some of you guys have a very strong understanding that there is a divine timing aspect of it, and you're going to be spoon-fed certain information as pertinent and necessary. But you still are a little bit annoyed about it. You're ready to get up and go whenever this becomes clear to you. Whenever this Two of Swords becomes an Ace of Swords, you're like, yeah, up and go. Right? You've got the fire in your gut. You are this beautiful, balanced, passionate being that knows how to use inspiration for the good. But just this feeling that we have that we don't have full control of the situation does trigger some old wounds with the Knight of Wands. It still brings us back to our wounded warrior sense, and sometimes we beat ourselves up about it. You know, the shame came up there, right? Sometimes we beat ourselves up about it. Now, there's a card in the deck here that's poking out, and I do feel like I have to show it to you. The Devil. Okay, limiting factors, repressive thoughts, addictions for some of you, avoidant behavior, the Devil, okay? This Two of Swords is completely in your power to control. The Devil energy always has these two people with chains around their neck, but they're loose. They can pull them off whenever they want. They're saying that, yes, there are options with regards to which weapon you're going to use in order to slay these demons, but you have every power to do so. And just because you've been wounded in the past, they're saying, I'm hearing very strongly that there are wounds of the past, especially with Chiron and Lilith coming into play today. Your wounds of the past are helping you because you're realizing that you don't give up so easily. Very nice. Very nice. Good job. Good job, everybody. You're doing great. Doing great. All right, get a little bit from the bag of tricks to see what's up. I gotta dig real deep today. Really get in there. Want me to mix it up and get into the nooks and crannies, and it's no wonder with the Devil popping out there. Literally, the way I put down the deck, it was just like screaming at me. I could see the card peeking out. I was like, what is that? All right, so maybe some of you guys are actually, that's an interesting message. Some of you guys are feeling more and more intrigued by that Devil before you were completely averted to it, and now you're starting to be curious. You're like, okay, maybe there is something there. Unique up until now. It's the gem. It's that gem. So those of you who followed me for a long time, I often make the analogy of sometimes you carry, it's like you're carrying around this rock. And everyone's like, why are you carrying around a heavy rock? It's ridiculous. And you're like, there's something in here I know that's special. I just need to carry it. One day you drop it, and out pops this most beautiful, gorgeous diamond that you've ever seen. And then you're like, see, I knew I had to take care of this thing. I knew it. I knew it was going to come to fruition. I'm hearing that up until now you've just been carrying that around, but you're starting to chip away at that rock. And the uniqueness of this thing is actually really, really starting to shine through. Before it was overlooked with this arrow here. They're saying people weren't looking at it properly, but now the focus is like coming straight for that diamond. Maybe you've got a very unique aspect of yourself that people misunderstood, and now you're actually coming to light, and people are appreciating you for it. What's under that? And speed up. Okay, they're saying you got to pick up the pace, dears. That thing that the Devil, you got to deal with it now. All right. There's something that you really got to delve deep for. What's under that? There's this energy of urgency that you're feeling that has some sort of connection with this. Like, why are you? They're saying, why are you in such a hurry? Why are you in such a hurry? Why are you in such a hurry? Yeah. The reason why you're in such a hurry has some root in what is going on here. What's been holding you back? What's been keeping you from being able to really be that diamond that you really are? External conditions and separate. All right, there's things outside of you that you cannot control, and they are calling you very strongly to choose which fucks you give, and do not bother with things that you cannot change. Really, especially right now in the 1111 portal, you need to use all of your energy in order to cultivate good stuff for yourself and to create your manifestations and to really solidify this nice energy that we have been trying to get. You feel, I heard, I'm trying to squeeze blood from a stone. Well, if you're just constantly dividing yourself from yourself by focusing on all the external conditions that you can't even control in the first place, of course you're never gonna get blood from a stone, because you're not actually, yeah, you know what I mean. You're not putting your energies to the right place, and then you end up with an empty cup, and you have no more to actually do the work that you have to. Development and deep connection. Okay, you've got some of you guys have been cultivating new energy exchanges with people's places, things, situations, and this deep soul connection that you have, this karmic contract, this life path. This is a dharma. You have a dharma coming up for you in your life, whether it be a person, place, thing, or situation. But there is a very big development coming here, and that's why they don't want you to focus too much on the external circumstances, because if you get all caught up in that, you're not going to be able to put the right energy into cultivating this connection that you desire. You want it. Okay, some of you guys have been seeking love, seeking a new job, seeking a new house. You want that thing. So there's developments happening right now, but you have to be ready to put the necessary energy in to bring them to fruition. And if you're focusing on everybody else and their uncle, you don't have anything for you. All right. So I'll see you guys later. I'll be back tomorrow. But until then, I'm sorry for anything you're going through. If I've made you feel a certain way, thank you for being a beautiful being and lending your energy to this circuit that I hold so dear. Thank you to your guides, my guides, the Ascended Masters, the angels, whatever other energies were involved in bringing us these clear, concise messages for our greatest good, and us finding them in a timeless fashion, whether it's today, tomorrow, in the near future, or in the distant future. If you're here listening to me say this, there is something in here for you. I love you to the moon and stars and to infinity and beyond and back, and I accept this. I hope you do too, but if not, it's all good. See you next time. Bye.